Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Emmanuel, and I'm a licensed financial professional. And I'm here to educate you. If you're here and you are thinking about how to improve your finances, you're thinking about how to build wealth, you are thinking about how to start a business, you're thinking about how to create generational wealth, well, you're at the right place. And today, we'll be having a very interesting subject: how to be poor. Yes, you heard me right. How to be poor. See, hey, we always hear about how to build wealth, about how to create and start a business, how to be financially free. But I think sometimes it's great to understand that it's not everyone that wants to be wealthy. Some people want to be poor and they really, really would love tips on how to be poor. So, yeah, this is not parody. It's if you follow whatever tip I'm going to be giving today, I promise you, you'll be poor. Hey, just follow step one, step two, step three, step four, step five, step six, step seven. So, we are going to be having 7 steps today on how to be poor. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please kindly do so. And I'll be bringing very, very interesting financial education to you every week. And let's dive into today's topic: how to be poor. First, what's being poor? Okay, by my definition, I'm not coming up with a special definition of being poor. I really mean being poor, just having no money, not being able to take care of one's family, not being able to provide for yourself and for your children and for your spouse, not being able to just have a nice place to live, enjoy life really, enjoy the basic necessities and even some luxuries of life. I mean, we don't even want to enjoy the basic necessities of life in the context of poverty, let alone luxury. 7 points today that I'll be making on how to be poor. Point number one: don't get financially educated. You see, all of this education, all of this frenzy about being financially educated. What's the purpose? I mean, think about when you're educated. That would shift your thinking. That would help you to know what to do with your finances. That would help you to know that you are taking the right step or the wrong step with your finances. Now, if your goal is really being poor, if your goal is that you don't want to build any kind of wealth, whenever you see an opportunity, for example, a YouTube channel like this, to get educated about finance, just skip over it. I mean, what's the alternative to financial education? Watch movies. Think about it. You get to enjoy yourself, you get to entertain yourself, you get to even sometimes even lower your IQ just watching movies, just do this from morning till night. I assure you that you're already on a fast track to poverty. How do you get financially educated? By reading books. You see, when you see a book on financial education, run away. Just run away. Sometimes someone may even approach you and say, "Hey, I'm a licensed financial professional, or I'm someone who gives education about finance. I want to invite you to a session. I want to invite you to a seminar. I want to invite you to a webinar." Run as fast as your legs will take you, because he's trying to make you rich. He's trying to give you education that will change your life around. And you may be damned if you get that education. Look, there are a lot of books around that you can read about financial education. One is The Retirement Miracle, for example. Another is Saving Your Future. I will not even tell you the authors, because if I do tell you, you may be tempted to go find those books. And now you find those books, you read them, and you would have financial education. that is detrimental to your goal of not being wealthy. So, tip number one, stay away from financial education and you will be poor. Now, another tip on how to become poor. In fact, you can spell it out from the word poor. POOR. Now, POOR means passing over opportunities repeatedly. I did not make it up. It's not my original idea. Passing over opportunities repeatedly. One time I met a certain professor and I engaged him as I always like to engage people in my daily life. As a financial professional, I just want to educate everybody. And because I started talking to him, he then began to tell me about how being a professor is hard, especially financially. He told me how he didn't make a lot of money and in fact told me his yearly pay and it was pretty low. I was actually so surprised that a professor who has committed himself to doing a bachelor's in a very important subject, then having a master's in an equally important subject, and going for a PhD. Oh, I have a PhD in engineering, and I know how tough it is to study, do research, and eventually come out with a PhD. But he has all of this, and he's a professor, and is earning so little money. And you don't have to live like this. Try to think of something else you can do in addition to being a professor. He was really grateful that I presented to him an opportunity to learn something else he can do to increase his income, add to his source of cash flow. And I invited him over to a presentation. So I make presentations every now and then. Every Sunday, I have a financial literacy session where I just talk about different topics with regards to finance. And I also hold sometimes free one on one sessions. I gave him some financial education and I told him about an opportunity that he could begin to explore to increase his source of income. And he was so excited about it. He was happy to hear about it. And guess what happened? We're to meet on another day to show him how to get started. And he came with excuses. I talked to somebody about it, and the person told me to be very careful. Okay. And more so, I do not have so much time to do this. I'm a professor and this and that. All right. I just was like, oh yeah. Um, but I really liked his excuses because his excuses speak to our topic of today. You see opportunities, you shove them aside. In fact, you can make up excuses. You can convince yourself that number one, you do not have time. Number two, it's too difficult. Number three, just think of something. I love to read the scriptures, and there's something in the scriptures that talks about those people that pass over opportunities repeatedly. And it says of a lazy man that a lazy man says, there's a lion in the streets, therefore I cannot go out. The first time that I read that, it was really hilarious. I don't know how you're not laughing right now, but it was really, really, really hilarious. Okay, maybe I did not say it funny enough, but nonetheless, a broke person, a poor person, a person aspiring to be forever broke would make all sorts of excuses on why they cannot do something. And that is a good tip about being poor. So you pass over opportunities all the time. Every time you see opportunities, just say no. Wherever you're doing is enough, is sufficient. You are so busy, you don't even have the bandwidth to just create something that would, take your time, make you work a little bit harder. Come on, just live a peaceful, wonderful, enjoyable life of, reaching your dreams of being poor. So that's tip number two: pass over opportunities repeatedly. Another tip on being poor is keeping up with the Joneses. The first time I heard of keeping up with the Joneses was when I read a book by Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is a great guy. He helps people to get out of debt. That's his specialty. Though I don't agree with all of his financial principles, but I agree that we shouldn't have debts. And one of the reasons it says people get into debt is that they are trying to keep up with the Joneses. What's keeping up with the Joneses? Living above one's means to just impress your neighbor. Oh, I have to use a nice car because I want to impress everyone around me. Really, it's one way to get poor really quickly. It spirals. It leads into a spiral of activities. So because you want to buy a car you cannot afford, so you borrow money that you cannot pay back, and now as you begin to earn money you have to pay back the money, and it's choking you, suffocating you, and there becomes an emergency situation and you cannot take care of the emergency situation because you are owing money for this and for that because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's a great way to be poor. It's a great way to just spend everything that you have trying to prove a point to someone that does not care about your point. Really. Oh, that's your uncle told you that you'll never succeed in life. So now you want to prove to him that you have succeeded by buying something, a phone, a car, some expensive shoe, just something that really would not add value to you in the long run, just to prove that point to your uncle that finally I've succeeded. It's keeping up with the Joneses. It doesn't make sense it makes sense in the sense of trying to be poor. It makes sense. So in trying to be poor, keep up with the Joneses. Just just splurge, just enjoy life, just live a luxury life that you cannot afford because you have a girl that left you to impress. Oh, that girl left me. Okay, I think it's because I did not have a car. Now I'm going to buy this nice car and I'll drive by her just to show her that things have changed. Okay. That's a good way to report. You are right on track. You're right on track. Everybody's getting it. Everybody is buying that kind of car. Everybody is wearing that kind of shoe. Everybody is just doing it. So I think I don't want to be the odd one out. I'm going to do it also. That's keeping up with the Joneses. You're on track to being poor. In fact, you really do not need a lot to do to being poor. Once you can up your game, keeping up with the Joneses, living above your means, getting things that you cannot afford, the jewelry, the clothes, the cars, all of those nice things. Just just keep it up. Just keep it up. Your poverty is, you are very close. It's gonna come upon you, overtake you. It's gonna be part of you. And hey, that's a third nice tip to become poor. So I've given the first, second, and third tip. Now let's go to the fourth. The fourth is lack of long term planning. That's another step to becoming poor. Look, just think about tomorrow. Oh, of course. Just life is short. Enjoy it right now. Don't plan for tomorrow. Oh, Lord, why would someone, the foolishness planning for tomorrow, the foolishness planning for the future? How sometimes, hey, life happens and people don't even live long to enjoy that future, that great retirement that they are planning. Why would you plan for tomorrow when you can splurge on today? You know, there are some investment portfolios where you have to save money for 10 years, even for 20 years, for 30 years. It doesn't make sense to me. Why would you save money for 30 years when you can spend the money now? How about let's just even look for portfolios or funds that we put money in here today and you can get the money out tomorrow. Like a Ponzi scheme, for example. I mean, if I were trying to be poor, I would just keep investing in Ponzi schemes, because hey, it's a short term outlook. Put in $100 today, you get $100 tomorrow, Ponzi schemes like that. But when it comes to stable future investments like index funds, like annuities, like cash value life insurance, like some of this nice amazing portfolios, just keeping your money and making it work for you. It doesn't make sense if your goal is to be poor. Someone once said that if you do not learn your to make your money work for you, you would work for money all your life. Hey, so now the goal is being poor. Is it not better that you actually intentionally make your money not not work for you? So when you have an opportunity to invest, when you have an opportunity to grow your money, postpone it. Just tell the person, I'm not in a good place to save money right now. That's a polite way of saying no, right? Yeah. So you have a financial person come up to you and advises you, or you watch a video like this, and a video just tells you, hey, these are the steps to saving. Just shut it down. Now, don't shut this down, because I'm trying to help you become poor, right? So we are aligned on that. So you have any sort of education trying to give you the tips on where to invest for the long term for retirement. In my course of being a financial professional and talking to families, talking to individuals about saving money, I've talked to some 70-year-olds, and I once met someone who just had $30,000 saved for her retirement. They did not think of long term goals. One thing to avoid, when you're on your journey of being poor, is having emergency funds. Some foolish, uneducated financial professionals will tell you to keep about 6 months of your monthly income. Just save 6 months of that in an emergency fund portfolio, like a savings account, a high yield savings account, and all of that. Now, the goal is that if there's an emergency, you would not be able to meet the emergency. So, why would you save such money for 6 months? It does not make sense. That's long term, that's a kind of long term thinking, having emergency funds. So, anytime there's an opportunity to save your money, blow it. Don't save it, because your goal is to. And I like young people of today, because many young people of today, they have no savings. Really, they have zero savings, and I think that they are right on track. They are right on track. So, have zero savings, have zero emergency funds. You are 25, you don't have a dime, you have $0 in retirement funds, because hey, you're just 25. Why would you think of when you're 60? It does not make sense. So you're on the path to being poor. Don't worry, you are gonna give back to so many children who maybe they'll take care of you. In fact, you can teach them to be poor also, so that they don't take care of you. Then, at your old age, you're poor. At their old age, they're also poor. That's a great tip. Number 4 for how to stay poor. No savings, no retirement savings, no emergency funds. That's the way to go. Number five is credit cards and all sort of loans. Remember, we talked about keeping up with the Joneses. When you have kept up with the Joneses and you have exhausted all of your money, the next thing you need to do is to start borrowing money. Don't mind the fact that the scripture says a borrower is slave to the lender. Who cares? Who cares about that? You want to get a credit card. In fact, why would you get one credit card when you can get two? Why would you get two credit cards when you can get three? Why would just keep getting more credit cards as long as you can get approved for? After all, it's free money. Hey, who's going to arrest you if you don't pay back? Anyway, sometimes you have to pay back because you have to keep your credit score high so that whenever you want to keep up with the Joneses again, you want to buy that new latest car, that new latest phone, you can have enough credit to buy that latest thing you want to get. So, get more credit cards. What it does, let me tell you the technique. Every month, when you get your salary, when you get income, the first thing you typically would have to do would be to pay, and don't pay off a huge sum, right? Just to pay the minimum that you need to pay to keep that credit card active. Just pay the minimum. Credit card one, pay. Credit card two, pay. Credit card three, pay. Now, car loan one, pay. Car loan two, pay. The phone that you bought, because hey, you can buy phone on credits. You can, it's attached to a contract, so you pay off that phone too, and that way, on day two of your of the day you got your salary or your income or whatever, your paycheck, day two, you're broke. You don't have money left any longer. So that's a nice tip, that would keep you in perpetual poverty. Just spend all your income on servicing debt. It will keep you enslaved. I mean, come on, you'll be a happy slave because your goal is to become poor. So it's going to keep you enslaved, but at least you are happy. What's all of this wealth, all of this riches, all of this prosperity? You know, let's just push that to the side and let's focus on our goal. So your credit card, they are doing their job. Hey, they are designed to keep you poor. It's just by default. It's just by default. A lot of credit cards, the interest rate is over 20%. So high interest rate, right? And sometimes you can forget to pay. Sometimes you are too broke to pay. It's just going to complicate your brokenness. The first time I heard about credit cards, and I just quickly got one because I was like, hey, this is free money. But very quickly, I discovered that it was a sort of a chain. It was bondage to me, and I shredded it in a shredding machine, and I just paid everything off. And the peace that I had, I know that's not the kind of peace you're looking for because you're trying to be broke here, right? So don't shred your credit card. Argue. You can use some arguments like it will help you build credit. Some other excuses, you get bonus points for using those credit cards. I mean, you know that you don't get bonus points. You pay more interest than you get bonus points, right? So, but just use those excuses to keep your credit card, and you're on the path of being really, really broke. So, keep those credit cards. They are going to be helpful. How about tip number six? Poor money management habits. You see, why would you have good management habits when you're trying to be poor? So, good management habits will make you wealthy, will make you rich, because that way you can plan your spending, you can begin to budget, you can begin to increase your savings. But that's not the goal here, right? The goal is to put you in the perpetual state of being broke. And if you're going to be in the perpetual state of being broke, do not budget. You see all of those cliche budgeting, You don't even have that time to budget. You are not even making enough to budget. These are some of the good excuses that you can make in order not to have a budget. So, hey, make those excuses. They are going to be great because as your money is coming in, you're spending it. You just wake up and you use the regular phrase, where did all the money go? Yeah, once you are beginning to ask that question, where did all the money go? You are asking the right questions. Just wait for the next paycheck. Do the same thing. Don't budget. Don't plan. Just it comes. Pay off your credit cards. No, not off. Pay parts, minimum for your credit cards. Buy something new. Buy something you don't need. And just splurge. Go to your favorite restaurant. Have a nice time. Just spend, and you can even have two, three girlfriends. You have to pay for this girlfriend's hair. You have to take this other girlfriend to a nice dining. That other girlfriend, her birthday is next week, so you have to buy lots of gifts for her. So, hey, you are not budgeting, you are just spending. That's a very great way to be poor. Just waste your youthfulness that way. Never save. When you save, you'll be mistakenly wealthy. You'll be mistakenly rich. We don't want all of those mistakes. The goal is to stay poor. So have poor management habits, money management habits, because it's fast track to poverty. Don't learn new skills. That's another tip. Number 7. Don't learn new skills. You studied, for example, as a you went to school to learn gender studies. In your gender studies, you are trying to get a job as a gender studies technician. The point I'm making is you study a particular course of study and you do not find the usefulness of that course of study to making money, right? No job opportunities, no prospects. Now, one positive thing you can do is to up your skills. For example, learn skills in software development, or learn coding, or learn finance, or just learn something new, learn how to cook, learn digital skills. If you begin to think about how you can improve yourself, now that could make you mistakenly wealthy. So just stick to your course of study. Just continue beating the air, just chasing shadows in your course of study. Don't try to notice the trend that the world is going. Don't. That could really, really hamper your goal, you know. And hey, you'd continue to be useless to society. You are out of touch, you're out of date. This age AI is emerging. Don't pay attention to all of that. Stay at, you know, go, in fact, go find a typewriter and learn how to use the typewriter. Don't upgrade your skills, just go back in time, learn skills that are outdated, that are not relevant to the 21st century. And yeah, you'll be on that path to being poor. So now, and you would also put your eggs in one basket. So putting your eggs in one basket means if that particular thing where you have hoped for, if that particular thing fails, and because you've put all your hope in it, then you're in trouble. And that is good trouble because your goal is to remain broke, is to remain poor, is to remain just where you are. So I hope I was able to educate you about how you can stay poor. But of course, I promise you, if you take all of this step after step after step after step, then you'll you'll be poor for sure. But now, if your goal is being wealthy, if your goal is not being broke, and you take this and you see yourself unconsciously taking these steps, and you're thinking that, hey, there's a bright future for you, I think you're only just kidding yourself, really. Um, just join this winning side of, or losing side, so to say, of people who want to be broke. But I don't belong to that side. And that's not why I have this channel. The goal of this channel is to help educate everybody that tunes in on how they can be financially free, how they can be wealthy, how they can create not just wealth for themselves, wealth for generations. You know, there are a lot of people that they would benefit from you being wealthy. People who cannot have access to education, people who do not have access to 3 square meal, people who do not have access to electricity. Just your prosperity would help them see a bright future. If that's the reason you're here, just do the opposite of whatever I have said in this video, and you'd find yourself climbing great heights that are unimaginable. So, thank you for listening today, and it's a pleasure always giving this education about financial literacy. More videos will be dropping. Please stay tuned, subscribe if you've not subscribed, and if you want to be the first to know about our videos, you want to turn on the notification button. So, thank you everyone, and see you next time. Bye.